All right, my friend, it's Friday night, and I decided to cook for you, and hopefully I can change your entire life in this video. Because I came from a spot where I was running an agency, listening to all the gurus online, telling me new funnels and new lead generation tactics and new offers and all this BS that I thought would fix the problems I had in my business. So if you're currently running any type of agency or any type of new business model people are telling you about online, this video is going to serve you, because if you feel stuck, you don't need a new guru selling you a funnel to fix the problem you have. That is not the core fundamental problem you're running into. And it took me a lot of time and money to figure this out. I've spent $50,000 investing into myself from programs, coaches, courses, and the whole nine yards. And some of that I could have saved if I simply knew this. So if you want to grow and build a business similar to mine, where I run a solo consulting business that spits out a couple $100,000 a year in profit, then this video is going to serve you extremely well and help you crack the code. There's a quote that's completely changed my life, okay? When you are in the picture, you can't see the frame. If you see here to the left, when you are inside of the picture, you can't see the entire frame. And this framework, this quote has applied to my life in relationships, and it's very much applied to business, okay? And so what you're struggling with, what I struggled with, is what I call the funnel hamster wheel. Okay, and what the funnel hamster wheel is, it's this cycle that we go through when we're in the trenches of running a business. When we listen to these people and they tell us to do these certain things, so we take action on it, and we're in the trenches and we can't see the full frame on what we're working on. And so what ends up happening is right here, you can see this is a picture that I tried to draw of a freaking hamster. It looks more like a dog, but this is you. This is you right here. You are a hamster and you're on this flywheel. Okay, and the first thing that happens is you feel stuck. So maybe you start, you don't know how to create an offer. So you go listen to somebody on YouTube and they tell you, boom, 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 this is how you make an offer. The next thing you do is you go start lead generation. You go start doing outreach, or maybe you're doing ads, or maybe you're making content, and you reach this ceiling, right? And so if you see here on the right, you're running your business, and boom, 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 things are going well, and then you hit like a record month right here. But then you actually end up plateauing, and the question becomes, dude, what do I do? I feel stuck, right? You feel stuck. What do you do when you reach this plateau? Well, what a lot of people do is they go ahead and they go to number two, which is they find a new guru online who's saying that there's a different way to do the thing that you're struggling with, and that leads you to number three, which is to try some new funnel, to maybe switch your offer, or try a different way to acquire leads, or maybe try a different way to deliver your service or product, and the cycle repeats. And what ends up happening on your revenue scale here on the right is it doesn't go up. A lot of the times it actually goes down. Your revenue goes down when you go and you try something new, and then you end up feeling more stuck, and the cycle keeps on going and going and going and going. And this is something I ran into when I bought courses and things teaching ads and all these different things, and I just didn't know the core fundamental problem that I ran into. And you want to know what it is? The core fundamental problem that's keeping you back is that you do not have a funnel problem. You do not have a funnel problem. You have a model problem. You don't have a funnel problem. There's nothing wrong with the way that you do your offer, you acquire leads, or you nurture them, or you convert them, or you deliver your service. That is not the issue. The issue is with the actual model itself. When you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. And so you've built your model a certain way, listening to other people. And what you need to realize is that your business model is your entire life. Your business model dictates when you work, what you work on, how you work, who you work with, how much free time you have, what you spend your day doing, who you're talking to. Your business model dictates your entire life. Some people's businesses are in person, and they have to be stuck to one city that they're in. Guess what? Their business model dictated their life. Now they're stuck in a city in Ohio because they started a plumbing company in Ohio. So you get the idea. But what I want you to understand is that your business model is the single greatest decision that you'll ever make in your entire life, besides picking the right wife. Okay, if you pick the wrong woman, you are incredibly screwed. It doesn't matter about what your business model is. If you have the wrong woman, you're screwed. Besides that, though, your business model is the second most important thing that you'll ever decide in your life. And a lot of people, they don't decide what's the business model that's best aligned with their life. You know what they do? They listen to somebody online that's telling them, hey, run your business this way because it's the most profitable and it's the best and it's what I did. You listen to them, you build it, and then you end up building something you hate. You don't want to do that, and that's what I had to deal with. I built an agency where I built a team of VAs. I had a lot of overhead. I was working with realtor clients that I didn't really enjoy working with. I honestly hated my business, and it took me getting out of the picture, a 7-day trip to a cabin in the mountains of Georgia by myself, to be able to see the frame and see that I was building a business that didn't align with me, just because I was listening to people online telling me how I should build it. Okay, so here's what I realized, right? This right here is me on the left. This is me kind of sad. This is old C-Rod. And I was an agency owner because I got sold into Iman's idea to run an agency, and then I found other mentors and I bought programs. I was an agency owner, and I was doing about 10K a month in revenue, not profit. I was working 12 hours a day living with my dad. I had a little office. I turned my bedroom into an office, and I was living with my dad, and I had an office there. I was working 12 hours a day, calling realtors and chasing them down to try and get sales, and it was the most miserable time of my life. I would just like play video games at night to try to escape it, and take like Delta 8 gummies to kind of drown out the noise every night. It was not something I'm proud of, okay? But it was because I was very stressed and I had no freaking life. Literally all I did was wake up, call leads, take sales calls, and deliver my service. And I was making 10K a month, cool Stripe screenshots, and I could show my family and they could be all happy. But inside, I freaking hated what I was doing, and I was still stuck living with my parents. I had no car. Really, I was driving a 2001 Mercedes, old school car. Obviously paid off, wasn't paying for it. And the reality here, guys, is that I was sold a lie. I was sold a lie that if I ran an agency this specific way, I was gonna live my dream life, and it just wasn't true. Okay, and I've made a transformation over the past couple of years that I really wanna show you here. And this is into Chad C-Rod. This is me now. I'm just very happy with the model that I've built because it aligns with me and what I want in life. And so you need to understand that you need to build your model in a way that aligns with what you want in your life, because your model dictates your life. And so I built a business that really is a solo consulting business. And what that means is it's just me and a setter and maybe a few contractors, thumbnail designers, that type of stuff. But it's a very simple model that allows me to be high in profit and allows me to not have to work 12 hours a day. I work really 3-4 hours a day. And if I want to work more and I want to rip a 10-12 hour day, it's from a choice that I want to do it, not that I have to. The same reason I hated working a 9-to-5 at GNC. It's because I had to show up, right? I wasn't stressed anymore. I still deal with stress here and there, but it's relatively low. I don't have a big overhead. I know what I need to do to grow the business. And it's a very simple model that's aligned with me. I have every pillar in check. There's 5 pillars to your life. And most people only focus on financial and money, and that's why they're depressed and unhappy and on freaking suicide watch, really. A lot of entrepreneurs, they're not healthy. They're not mentally right. They are just slaving away and they're wasting their life because of this dream they have in their head that's what's going to get them the happiness they want, which is very sad. But now, I live in an apartment in Miami. I drive a Raptor, and I've hit my version of success. And to everybody, it's different. But here's kind of what it boils down to, okay? I made a video about this. These are the pillars of your life. Number 1, and this is in no particular order, you have financial, okay? And if any one of these pillars are in lack, that becomes the biggest bottleneck in your life, and you need to solve it. So I solved that financial pillar in your life, but when your emphasis is too much on this, it actually does not lead to a happy life, because you also need to care about your family. You need to spend time with them. You need to build relationships, have a love life, have friends and all that stuff. You need to have fun. I wasn't able to have fun when I was running an agency. I was stuck calling leads all day. And then I hired setters to call my leads, and then I was a manager, and I didn't enjoy it. I hated it. Now I'm able to go in a few weeks to Park City in Utah and go snowboarding with my friends and family. I didn't have that freedom before, and that's the whole reason I got into business, and you probably did as well, is you just want freedom to do what you want when you want. Number 4, faith. When I was running my business, when I was running my agency, the faith I had in God. Like my relationship with God broke because I was so focused on money. And the final is fitness, right? You have to be in shape. So these are the 5 pillars to your life. And you need to be able to allocate and kind of spread them out and put focus on each of them to live your best life. Nobody talks about this, right? You're listening to this, you're like, dude, all these videos I watch, nobody talks about this stuff. Everybody just talks about funnels and lead gen. And it's like, no, you need to build a business that allows you to encompass all these pillars of life. Okay, and so what I realized is the problem with the traditional agency model is simply leverage, okay? This is a lever right here, and there's a quote, if you give me a place of sand and a lever long enough, I can move the world. If you don't have leverage, you'll never build a business that gives you everything you want. And the issue I ran into is I was running a business on a one-to-one leverage model. And that means I'm sitting here sad on my seesaw, and I'm pulling a lever that, doesn't actually give me exponential results. And the actual input that I was doing that brought me this messed up model is one-to-one conversations. And you could apply this both on the marketing side and on the fulfillment side. What do I mean by this, okay? If you're working, if your business is built off one-to-one leverage, which, it's not leverage, it's just a one-to-one interaction, that's you maybe doing cold outreach. That means you have to have a one-on-one conversation with this guy to see if he's interested in your thing. Maybe the one-to-one conversation is with a client, and you have personalized work that you need to fulfill on a one-to-one level, and that's what makes it unscalable, and that's what makes it hard and very, just a headache on the fulfillment side. This is the issue with most traditional agencies, and maybe the business you're running is you've built it on a one-to-one lever. You don't have any exponential returns for the input that you do. But now what I've realized is I've built a one-to-infinite leverage. And the infinite lever that you want to pull is content both on the acquisition and the fulfillment side of your business. And an example I can give you here is with YouTube videos. The YouTube video I'm filming right now, I'm going to do one time and 100 people, 1,000, 1,000,000 can see it. Content is the highest form of leverage. Again, you could spend 30 minutes and you could get outsized returns for the small input of time that you can get from filming the video. Versus if I sat here and tried to explain this lesson and this problem to you in specific, I would be able to tell it to you maybe on a 30-minute Zoom call. But what about the thousands and millions of other people that need to hear this exact same thing? It's not possible. There's no leverage. Another example, very important for you in the business you're running, is turning your service right here. Is turning your service into content. We know that content is the highest form of leverage, so we want to utilize it both to acquire clients, but also to fulfill for the clients that we have. So we do this by converting our service into a content-based solution where you distribute it via video, right? You actually teach your client how to do the thing that you're already doing for them. That in itself is more valuable than done-for-you work. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. If I'm going to hire somebody to run ads for me, and I don't know how to run ads, instead of me paying them $2,000, $3,000 to run my ads, I would rather pay them $3,000 to show me how to run ads. The same way Hermosi, he talks about this, and if you want to listen to him and not me, that's cool. When he talks about people running an agency, he says, go and hire someone running an agency. Let them do it for you for a little bit, but understand how they're doing it so you can fire them and do it yourself. The form of teaching is what you want to do with your service. You don't want to be doing it for clients. It's more valuable if you portray it this way, where you teach them how to do it forever. If you could teach them a skill, that in itself is more valuable forever for their business, okay? Most important thing about this is you have infinite leverage here. Okay, if you're able to turn your service into content, into a course, maybe a coaching business or a solo consulting business like we'll get into, you have infinite leverage on the actual backend and how many clients you could bring on without there needing to be headaches on setting up their Go High Level or launching their ads together or getting the creatives. You just have to teach them the thing, right? And so the big kind of lesson that I want to give you, at least starting off right here, is the power of video, both on the client acquisition side and also on the client fulfillment side. You need to be doing these in both, and if you're not, you're probably not building a business that aligns with what you want to do long term. Now I want to go into how did I actually become a solo consultant? How could you do it? Tangibly, what could you do right now to be able to build a business that you don't hate, a business that you love, that brings you the profit you want, that brings you the freedom that you want to work when you want, on what you want. That's the ultimate goal that we all want, right? And so the way that I did it is I started off by learning a make money skill. And that skill for me was outreach. I learned how to send cold DMs on Instagram to acquire clients, and I did it. I sent probably millions of DMs. I got hundreds of sales calls. I signed a bunch of clients. That was the skill that I learned. And in terms of actually what I did for people, if I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have done this, but I implemented a done-for-you system for unsophisticated business owners. You don't want to start off being new to business and go and try to serve people, in our space, in the info space, agencies, coaches, consultants, because they are more sophisticated. They probably know more than you know. So it's not a good idea if you have zero skills. So I actually decided to work with realtors. They were unsophisticated. They didn't know what a funnel was. They didn't know how to utilize a CRM and all that stuff. So that's who I actually began working with. I developed a skill. I learned how to do outreach to acquire clients, and that led me to the second point. These are non-negotiables, by the way, and I'll give you an example in a second. One of my clients followed this exact same process and made $30,000 in a day. He's done $100,000 in profit in 60 days, all while working a couple of hours a week. I know it sounds crazy. I'm going to show you the case study here in a second. But again, number one is a money-making skill. You start there. If you don't have skills, you should go into some maybe done-for-you service or something like that, freelance work. Develop a skill set, content creation, editing, running ads, doing outreach, a money-making skill. The next step is to learn these skills, apply it, and achieve a transformation. Okay, and a transformation, we call it an A to B transformation. This is the most important thing you're going to learn about offers ever, is it's just an A to B transformation. You were here and you got to here. That's what you actually sell to people. And what that looks like is A, is there was a problem, and B, there was a result. So you solved the problem and you achieved a result. This is an A to B transformation. And I wrote down right here that this case study or this A to B transformation could either be you or a client. Okay, and we'll dive into what route you actually go down. But what this does is when you learn the skill and apply it, you don't become a scammer, you become credible. You know how to do the damn thing. That's how you get credibility, and you need credibility to move on to step number 3. And step number 3 is to become a solo consultant, okay? And if that aligns with the business that you want to run and the life you want to live, then this is your thing. You become a solo consultant, and there's 2 routes to go to build leverage here. Route A, okay? Route A is to serve the same niche that you're in. If you're currently in an unsophisticated niche, you're working with contractors, you're working with realtors, you're working with landscapers or something like that, you could decide to become a solo consultant in that same niche, and all you're going to do is you're going to reconstruct your service to increase leverage. So if you're running ads for landscapers, what I want you to do to increase leverage is turn that into curriculum where you can show landscapers how to run the ads themselves. So you can become a solo consultant in an unsophisticated niche. That's the first route. Now, route B is to serve old you. And this is the route that a lot of clients and I go through because there's a lot of money to be made here. And if you're the type of person that I'm thinking about, you could print money doing this. Route B, after you've learned a money-making skill, you've applied it, you've achieved a transformation for yourself or somebody else, you could serve old you. You could serve the version of you that had the problems, or had the problems that you've already solved now. And all you're going to do is you're going to build a program to solve the problems that you had when you were starting off. So if you've been able to grow a agency with landscapers to 10K a month, right? That means you achieved a transformation. You went from 0 to 10K. That's an A to B transformation. You could either decide, A, I'm going to go help landscapers and teach them how to do the thing I'm doing for them because I'm credible now, or B, I could show other people how to make money with an agency and go from 0 to 10K a month. Those are 2 routes you can go down, and just applies to what you actually want to do, who you want to serve, who you want to work with in the long term. Make long-term decisions. Think in decades, not what's the fastest way to make money. Okay? Now, either one of these routes, they both lead to acquisition leverage. Now you need to apply a process to acquire clients in either route in a leverage format. And this is probably the most important thing I want you to take away here. I want you to create a philosophy. Now listen to me. A philosophy is the reason somebody will pick you over the next guy. If you're anything like me, there are 1,000, tens of thousands of other people that pretty much offer a similar thing that I offer, right? There's a ton of people trying to sell you a program. There's a ton of people selling the same thing that you're selling. And the way that you stand out is by creating a philosophy. It's creating a lens in which you view the thing that you do, because you are the best version of you and nobody can copy you. If you try to copy somebody else and somebody else's philosophy, that's how you lose. So you need a philosophy to develop that you could sell and both deliver on. And an example is the philosophy I have in running a solo consulting business and the business I'm building. That's my philosophy. I want to be able to work 3 to 4 hours a day. I want to be able to have 90, 95% profit margins. I want to be able to work with dream clients that I love working with. Those are things that are true to me. I don't make that up because I heard somebody say that. That's true to me and what I want. And that's the philosophy that I've built. And that's why I'll attract people that want to learn and apply my philosophy instead of me kind of, blending into the 1,000 other people trying to sell you that same program on how to scale a coaching agency or consulting business, okay? So you want to develop a philosophy or a unique way of doing the thing that you've done and package it up into a format that you could sell in your YouTube videos. So again, let's take the example. You went from 0 to 10K with an agency serving landscapers. Well, what was it about that process? Let's say you're going to teach people how to go from 0 to 10K with an agency. What was it about that process that made you develop a philosophy? When you actually go, you probably learned how to acquire clients or learned how to make an offer from other people, but when you go and apply the thing and take practice on it into your life, you know what happens? You develop your own philosophy. You just might not know it yet. Maybe you ran into something, you applied what somebody told you and you did it, but you ran into something, you're like, hey, I could actually do this better. And you did it, and you've developed your own philosophy from your own unique life experience, and that's what you sell in your YouTube videos. That is how you stand out. I can't tell you the importance of that. Clients have applied that of mine, and they've made hundreds of thousands of dollars with this. And so you sell the philosophy in the YouTube videos, and you deliver the philosophy in a course or program or your consulting business, where you teach them how to actually replicate the same philosophy that you have. So an example is my client, Jacob Ray. He lives here in Miami Beach, and this is a screenshot of my Instagram story. He had a $30,000 day, collected an extra $7K on PayPal, but you see right there, $24,000 in a day. And he runs a marketing agency serving realtors. We're gonna dive into the whole thing. So that same step-by-step process I just showed you on how I became a solo consultant, he did the exact same thing. So how did he start out? It was simple. Step 1, he learned a skill, and his skill was SMS outreach. And he built an agency around it. So step 1, he learned that skill, built an agency around it, and it led him to step 2, which is he achieved a transformation, an A to B transformation. He was able to go from 0 to 100 grand a month in an agency with SMS outreach. Okay, he's developed his own unique philosophy on how to scale an agency. And that's the reason he was able to make his solo consulting business work. I can't tell you how important this is to you. This third step, so we went over, he learned a skill, SMS outreach, boom, he got that nailed down, he was able to achieve a transformation and go from 0 to 100 grand a month, okay? Step 3, he decided to become a solo consultant. He came to me because he understood my philosophy. He was tired of the agency and he said, dude, I love, the idea of making an extra 30 grand a month in only a few hours a week by building a brand and doing boom, 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 and becoming a solo consultant. So we started working together, and he decided he wanted to serve his old self. He's like, yeah, dude, I could definitely help people scale their agency. So boom, that leads us to step 4. He had to create a philosophy. And the philosophy he created was in practice and his own lens in which he applied the knowledge he gained in business. I'm sure he had mentors that taught him how to run an agency, but he found that selling a $1 upfront offer was the best thing for him. So you see what I just told you, right? Jacob sold a $1 upfront offer. It's like, what? How did he scale to 100K a month by charging $1? You have all these thoughts going through your head. That is Jacob's unique philosophy. And that is the reason people bought his program instead of any of the other guys you see online selling a program. It's because they bought into Jacob's philosophy. And that leads us to step 5. Is he acquired attention in a leveraged format by implementing a content system, a couple simple YouTube videos a week, obviously with strategy behind it and an objective behind each video. And that led us to the A to B transformation he got working with me, which is he made 100 grand in profit within about 60 days of starting a solo consulting business. He has 0 employees in this business, by the way. 0. Zilch, 100%. I put 95% profit to make it more believable. I mean, maybe Stripe fees, you could count for Stripe fees and, you know, that type of stuff. It's pure profit for him, guys. Like, it's a simple process. He just applied the things that I taught him. He built a channel with 300 subscribers. He made 100 grand from 300 subscribers. We were having cigars the other night, and I was talking to him about it, and I'm like, dude, when I tell people, when I spread this message about what you achieved to other people, they're just not going to believe me. Like, how is somebody going to believe that you have 300 subscribers and you made 100 grand? I could try to give a logical explanation to it, but you have to really want to believe it to believe it. And it's very simple. He had a high ticket offer, high ticket consulting program, had 300 subscribers, made very niche videos talking about his philosophy, and a couple people bought into it. And I think it's 20, right? 5K, 20 people, that's 100 grand. 20 people bought into it. Took him maybe 3 hours a day to film content and deliver. Again, super high profit. And that's the result he achieved by becoming a solo consultant. So again, solo consultants, they rely on the leverage of media so they can work 3 to 4 hours a day, be at a 95% profit margin, and have true freedom, which is all I want. There's a test that Ty Lopez talks about. How do you actually know what's the main driver in your life? There's freedom, there's money, there's status, there's love. Those are the main drivers of a man's life, right? So if your main driver is money, you'd be willing to sacrifice the next 20 years of your life to end up making $100 billion after those 20 years. That's not me. If your main driver is status, you may be broke and have no money in the bank account, but you have the Porsche and the McLaren and the Lambo and the penthouse and all that stuff because you like status. If it's love, you might sacrifice business to get married at a young age and just focus on your relationship and having kids. Again, those aren't me. My main driver is number one, freedom. I want to be able to go where I want, take care of the people I want, do whatever I want with me first, and provide freedom to others in my life as well. With the second follow-up to that in being family. And of course, status. Men love status. Every man wants status. But that's a bit of a side tangent. I will say, though, that this idea, if you're still watching at this point, it means maybe you don't think I'm full of shit and you think that this kind of makes sense. I do believe that a solo consulting business will be the next big thing. You could see it all around. Everybody you listen to online, especially if you're an agency owner, dude, everybody's just selling you a program and they've built some type of consulting business. They understand this to the core, and that's my job. That's what I want to tell you, is I don't want to be the guy telling you to do something that I'm not doing. I want to be the guy to tell you exactly what I'm doing, and if you want my help doing it, you can figure out how to talk to me and work with me to, actually do it and save years that it took me and a bunch of money to spend to learn this stuff. But the smart people understood this. They shut down their agency. They shut down the service-based, unleveraged model, and they built a brand with content in a leveraged fashion along with the delivery in a leveraged way. So be early to this trend. I freaking signed this damn thing because this will change your life if you apply it. Take action on this, my friend, and I promise you, becoming a solo consultant, building a brand, having content and leverage on the back end of delivery, that's the thing that will change your life. Remember, when you're inside of the picture, you can't see the frame. Take some time and think about, what is the business I'm running? Can I do this for the next 10, 20, 30 years? If the answer is no, something needs to change. You do not have a funnel problem. You have a model problem. See you in the next video. Peace out.